item under Deputations, we have the Guardian Angels Canada. On pages 14 to 44 of your agenda, we have a letter from Mr. Ian Hodgkinson, Guardian Angels Canada, dated September 24th, 2015, requesting a deputation and to appear this evening before Committee of the Whole relative to the Guardian Angels Canada. We'd invite Mr. Hodgkinson to come forward.
I'd like to say hello, thank you, Mr. Mayor, Council, for letting us be here. I got these 3 lots. Just kidding. I'm sorry, I was watching Aldo as this is going off. You haven't changed at all. Very nervous, but very honored to be here. I just want to take as little time as possible to explain a little bit about what we've done here in Thunder Bay in the last 9 months and briefly talk about our plans for the future. I've been in the Guardian Angels for the last 20 years, and I'm originally from Thunder Bay. I've been doing the Guardian Angels in Latin America and the city of Los Angeles and in New York City. And for circumstances that really don't have anything to do with this meeting, I had to make a life choice and move back home here to my hometown. When I made that decision, I threw it out there to see if there was any interest in Thunder Bay for anybody who would like to participate in the mission of the Guardian Angels and just kind of be a positive role model for the youth of today. That snowballed, and the response was great. And of course, I have a previous relationship with the mayor. We're good friends from years back. I asked his opinion and for his approval to try to see how the Guardian Angels could fit into Thunder Bay. The original idea was a lot different than where we are today. I kind of just let it happen and see how the reaction of the public was going to be. Unfortunately, from the stigmatism of past experiences in the press of the Guardian Angels, there is a rumor or an image of a vigilante group that did exist in the 1970s in New York City. Not only is that not true, that has nothing to do with the mission of the Guardian Angels. All we are volunteers who live in this community, who want to do the right thing for the right reasons. But certain people in the press, and of course there are certain people who are opposed to any kind of change socially, were attacking us in the press. And so when we started to go out in the public and visit communities and try to make our presence known as a deterrent to vandalism or crime or things that were happening in the streets of Thunder Bay, the response was incredibly positive. But I started to see in social media that it was starting to be a he said, she said type thing, and it was becoming really infantile and almost like schoolyard bullying type stuff from certain people in Thunder Bay. No names need to be mentioned, but they were kind of attacking the group, and it was kind of getting dragged through the mud. So I kind of stepped back a bit to reprogram things and reboot the project. Initially, we did go into areas of town where there is a lot of drug use and abuse, drug sales. Unfortunately, there is it's pretty obvious of the racial differences in this town. There is a lot of violence in some places. Most of it is domestic. That has nothing to do with us because we've never once claimed to be or do the job of police officers. We are the ones who step up and say on a daily basis to anybody who will listen that the police are heroes and we need to support our police department. So when we started to go into areas of town where it's known for prostitution and stuff like that, it made certain people uncomfortable, people who live that lifestyle and kind of do things that they're not supposed to do. It did get rough, and we did see that our presence not only inspired hope, but we also started affecting the lives of people who needed help. They turned to us, they trusted us because we established this communication with people in the streets because we're not a community outreach program. And there are a lot of people in Thunder Bay who do great things, and there are a lot of agencies who are just really wonderful. but we don't like to go out there and pretend and put a Band-Aid on things. The problem is a lot deeper. We are a frontline group who goes out there and gets our hands dirty and really cares and really tries to make a difference. So when I started to see that we were really making a difference in certain areas, I tried to weigh the pros and cons of the situation. I had in-depth conversations with my group, and of course, when I could, with the mayor, obviously, and with our president and founder in New York City, and I kind of told them that we need to restructure the mission of the Guardian Angels. Where we are at today, we have a clubhouse or a gym, any way you want to call it, right down the street from you. It is a fully functioning self-defense facility, and in that gym, we are starting as of this Saturday, we have what we call the Guardian Angels University. There's a program in Los Angeles, it's called Homeboy Industries, and what that program has done is it's taken over 10,000 gang members in the last 15 years and helped them get back into society. I've taken that blueprint of their model and I've kind of adapted it to the plan here in Thunder Bay, and now we are going to be offering, there's going to be legal assistance, there's going to be money managing classes, parenting classes, drug counseling. We have a group this Saturday that's starting with me. There are 18 young women. They're all teenage mothers who have come from foster homes and have been abused in every which way you can imagine, who are in a program in the Con College. They are getting their high school diplomas as well as their first year of college at the same time. These women have no resources, no income. They have nowhere to go. So we are taking them in and we are going to start teaching them. We're going to give them parenting classes, and obviously they're going to get the self-defense from us too, basic first aid. And we are going to try to start setting goals for these young women and help them adapt to the model that we are presenting, which is learning life skills so they can get a job. We look at it like this. If you are going to empower young people that are at need, and everybody's talking about this big crime problem in Thunder Bay, we feel that if you invest in young people and you empower these people that need help, they in turn are going to start investing in themselves and believing in the community that they live in. Once they start to see a change and transform, it's pretty magical, and they're going to start investing in their community. Once they invest in their community where they live, not only is that going to be good for business, so to speak, we can also hopefully expect that we will see lower crime rates in that area of town or in those areas of town, because the same people that live there are going to start taking care of themselves and taking care of where they live. We also look at it like kinship. There is no distinction, your sexual preference, your religious preference, your age. There's none of that here. We are a very diverse group. We accept pretty much everybody. And I know one of the big questions was, well, do you do criminal checks and all that kind of thing? Well, of course we do. We're dealing with young women who have been through the ringer, so to speak, and a lot of young men and women don't trust people in these agencies that are offering these programs that they can't even get to. One, because they don't want to. Two, because they don't feel welcome. And three, they just don't know about it. And four, they don't have the means. So we're trying to offer an alternative and trying to tell them that, hey, brother, you know what? I will not tell you what to do, but I certainly will walk beside you and make this journey possible. When you fall down, you stand right back up. I'm not going to run away. I will be with you and see this through to the end. Because if you're just going to give them a blanket and a sandwich and a hug, that's really not enough, because tomorrow there are bills to pay. And life needs to be lived. And there needs to be an income in this household to start raising the next generation of kids. So the Guardian Angels has kind of gone on to a different mission. And we're trying to empower the whole community with a lifestyle. And this lifestyle is pretty simple. And we have a saying here, is that the violence that's caused by this addiction to drugs is because the lethal absence of hope. And if you don't have a transformation for your pain, you're going to keep transmitting the pain that's inside you because of these abuses that you've suffered in your life. Scar tissue runs deep in the streets. So we know it's a jungle. So we've kind of come up with this scheme, and I really think that that's how we fit into Thunder Bay. There's definitely no vigilantes here. We're all good people. You know, everybody here is a family person, family man or woman. Everybody here is working. Nobody here has criminal records, and we're just trying to do the right thing. And it's illogical to me.
Sorry to interrupt. I just wanted to let you know you have about a minute and a half left.
I only need 30 seconds.
Okay.
If you can see this pill, this is the size of a Percocet or an Oxycontin. This pill sells for $450 on a reserve. Do you know what these young people have to go through to get this? I would much rather open my arms, open my doors, and educate instead of incarcerate. So that's what we're here to do. I'm here to ask City Council to recognize us, to accept us, to endorse us. I would also like to extend the olive branch, and hopefully the Thunder Bay Police will also endorse us. And me, myself, and you all know this, and I gotta say it, I really think that the Guardian Angels, myself, belongs on the City Crime Prevention Council. We are boots on the ground, we are frontline. We love the city of Thunder Bay. To us, you guys are the rock stars. We just want to support you. That's kind of all I had to say.
Excellent timing. First question, Councillor Puglia.
Thank you, Madam Chair. And thank you for coming forward and providing some clarity both to council and the community about your role in Thunder Bay, because it was long overdue. I appreciate it.
Thank you.
I've been, before I go to my question, I've been contacted by the Provincial Child Advocate. I'm the City Child and Youth Advocate. I'd like to work with you. We'll be talking soon. My first question. You already mentioned about police collaboration. Can you please expand on that? And what kind of collaboration agreement you have in place now? Are you seeking one right now?
When I first got to Thunder Bay, I reached out to the mayor, and then the second person I reached out to was the chief of police. We had a meeting. I asked for an endorsement. He told me no, he can't give me one yet. He wants to wait and see what happens. So I think after 9 months, it's time. We love the police. The police are essential. And it's sad to me to see that a young person, a young child who watches television, has access to social media and the internet and the iPhone and all that kind of stuff, idolizes a drug dealer or a gangster or a murderer or a serial killer before he would idolize a law enforcement officer. To me, it doesn't make sense. So I look at myself and I speak the language of the streets. I've been there. I understand it. So I'm begging the police to accept us, because without the police, there is anarchy in the streets. So I'm hoping that that changes.
Thank you. My second question, Madam Chair, is you have talked about some of the issues that Thunder Bay is facing. You've been in other major cities. I read your report in Mexico. What are the most pressing ones you see now that we should prioritize as a council? From your point of view, what's the most important one if we need to prioritize our allocation of resources and focus?
I think that there are so many programs available, but nobody's ever stopped and asked the people on the street what they really need. When you go and tell somebody, this is what you need, have you walked in their shoes? Have you been a drug addict? Have you gone hungry? Have you committed a crime so you can go to jail just so you can stay out of the rain or nobody rapes you tonight? I really think that we need to ask the question, what do you need? What are you missing? And we need to hold the people who are accountable. Step up.
And my final question is, given that scenario that you're describing and those priorities, what is the best way in your mind to move forward over and above council recognizing you?
I'm hoping that I can get on the Crime Prevention Council, because we are your eyes and ears. We're the boots on the ground for you guys. You guys are doing an amazing job, but the pressures of running the city are immense. You need people out there who have been on the street, who are from the street, and who live in the communities just like we all do. I said it a million times, under the umbrella of the stars, we're all brothers and sisters. You guys got a job to do. Let us help you. So I really think if you endorsed us and let us be on that council and I can report to you what's going on, it would be a lot easier.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
Thank you.
Councillor Hebert.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Thanks for your presentation, Ian.
Thank you.
Still remember the days when I used to referee when you were playing Pee Wee hockey as a goalie.
I was a good guy. I never got in any fights. Don't hold it against me now.
I won't. You serve the whole community, but you chose to locate your office in the downtown South Core area. Was there a reason for that?
I always believe things happen for a reason, and when we were looking for space, I walked in this empty warehouse type thing, and I just said, to me, this looks like a gym in a school, and it was just that was the reason, more than anything. It was just one of those things.
And your own clubhouse has been broken into too, as I understood it.
No,
No? Well, I thought you were in an office on May Street that was broken into.
yeah, I've been there for a year. No, nothing like that.
All right.
It's got a big bright light, and it's got cameras everywhere. Can't breathe around there. I'll find out.
On the report you gave us about the kind of guidelines for the guardian angels, particularly with regard to transportation, it says do not accept hitchhikers. What about picking somebody up who is in trouble, like either being beat up or accosted by somebody else? Would one of your people in a car pick them up?
Of course.
Okay, it just doesn't show on your list of things.
When I say of course, the process would be this. Obviously, if somebody was by themselves in their car, right away they have to reach out to myself or somebody else, one of the other guardian angels. It has to be recorded. We have to know. So that we can write it down, just in case. We have to cover our own
Oh, sure.
behind, so to speak. And now there's a cell phone with a camera. Everything's recorded. And of course, if it's a life and death situation, right away we call 911 and we get advice. And we tell them what's going on. If it has to be moved, which it probably doesn't, none of us are authorized to do that. Someone's going to die. That's a judgment call that's made at the moment, right? But the process that we go through and our protocol is that we stay with the person. It doesn't matter how long it takes until the proper authorities get there, be it fire, ambulance, or police. We don't take that into our own hands. We're not superheroes,
And third question, this is your first branch in Canada. Are you planning on opening others if you're successful here?
It's not the first branch in Canada. There was a movement in the early 80s, but we have, since I was given the responsibility to reboot the project, I have closed all the other chapters in other cities that were being accused of being a vigilante group and all that kind of stuff. We've gotten rid of the old guard and their mentality, and we're starting anew. So now, yes, there is a lot of interest, and of course it's going to be a national project eventually. There's already interest in other major cities. I've already spoken to people in Toronto and Montreal, Ottawa. But the problem is this. If you really want to be a guardian angel, you got to remember Mayor Hobbs is the first Canadian politician ever to accept the guardian angels. So we have a school now. You have to come here and learn how to be a guardian angel according to our new protocol. If you don't do that, then you don't get to be in the guardian angels, period. So you have to come here and learn the ropes and do it right.
Thank you. I know some of the elderly people at Patterson Court really appreciate the work your group does, so keep up the good work.
Thank you.
Thank you, Madam Chair.
Councillor Johnson.
Well, thank you, Madam Chair. Through you, I was just interested. I looked up on the website today about the guardian angels, and because I was interested. I read all your material. Thank you for sending it to us. And it says in here that a Vancouver chapter, Ottawa chapter, Calgary chapter, Halifax chapter, and then the one in Toronto as well. So, what is your affiliation with those?
They're all closed. They are no longer in the guardian angels. They're not affiliated with us all. All those chapters are now closed.
Oh, well, that website certainly needs to be updated.
Yes, it does.
Okay, then the other thing I'm interested in, you wrote in your information that you're a non-profit organization.
Correct.
Are you meaning that you're incorporated and also have a charitable number as well?
I am. We are a nonprofit, and the charitable. We have petitioned for it, but it takes up to 13 months. So it's in there, and it's in process.
Okay, and then my third question is, how are you financed at this point in time?
Well, we have received some donations from incredible people in Thunder Bay. We were rebuilding our gym clubhouse, and some of the material was donated by Home Depot, for example, or the windows and all that kind of thing. There has been one individual who gave us a small donation, and the rest of it is financed by myself. Of course, the long-term goal and it would be to get core funding eventually so the program can grow. It will be needed, but when we get to that bridge, we'll cross it hopefully with fundraisers and things like that.
Okay, I have more questions, but that's all I can ask. Thank you.
Councillor Verderamo.
Thank you. Thank you for your presentation. Councillor Johnson did mention the other Guardian Angel chapters that were in Canada. Why did those close?
They were a little bit radical. They kind of took things into their own hands. Some of the groups were hell-bent on the romantic image of the gang culture of New York in the 70s. And unfortunately, in Canada, you just cannot go out thugging, as we call it. You just can't go out there intimidating people. And they wanted to be that way still. We offered that they can come through the new system. They refused, so it was a decision made by New York, the major chapter, and they closed that group in Vancouver. And they closed basically every group in Canada for the same reason.
Basically, you're asking for an endorsement of council to assist you in getting an endorsement from the police department. I don't know what implications that would have, so I would be prepared to move a motion to refer this to administration to see what the implications are in doing what you asked, and to have the police department give their views and opinions on this request. So I would be prepared to direct that to council if that's wished to get a report back from administration in relation to the implications. So I would be willing to do that. My second question is the services that you said that you provide. We asked the questions. You answered. You said that you provide certain services that other agencies in the community provide. What impact does this have on the agency that provide the same services, like job search, counseling, all that business?
Well, I was going to answer your question before you kind of yelled at me there.
I didn't yell.
Yeah, I'm not asking the council to ask the police department to endorse me. I'd like this council to endorse me, because when I do go to public events, it would really mean a lot to the people that go to these events to see the Guardian Angels are supported by the city, and we support the city. Two different things. So I just was trying to answer your question, and I didn't understand your second question there. What are services?
You said you were providing certain services to people that you provide services to. My understanding is that those same services are provided by different agencies in the city. How do you impact on them?
I don't know how we impact on other agencies. Our door is open to everybody, and we've certainly reached out to the other agencies. There has been a semi-formal hello, how are you type relationship. Obviously, if some other agency asks us to support them in one of their events, of course we will be there, and vice versa. So it's a very friendly atmosphere right now. One of the differences, just so you can understand what I see from my own personal point of view, because I'm the guy who's out there on the streets, is that it's a different type of language. Some people feel more comfortable talking to somebody like me, or in a different circumstance, maybe I might offend somebody or scare them or intimidate them. It all depends. So everybody's different. So the big difference that I've seen so far is that people respond to us. Why, I don't know, but there's just that little bit of extra trust. I'm not sure if that answers your question.
Okay. Thank you. Just to reiterate, I thank you for the work that you're doing in our community, and I ask the clerk what is necessary to have this referred to admin for a report to come back to us as to what are the implications for the city to do what they ask.
The only motion that can be made following a deputation is a request for a report. If you would like to make a motion for a report from administration on this item, and there is a seconder for that, that would be up to council to vote.
I do.
Can we speak to the motion now, or do we continue asking questions?
I would suggest we finish on the speakers list because I have a number of people wanting to speak.
Okay, thank you.
Next on the speakers list, Mayor Hobbs.
Thank you very much, Mr. Hodgkinson, and I want to thank the people that are sitting behind you too, some of the members of the Guardian Angels. I've been out on walkabouts and truly seen the difference that you make. So thank you so far for what you've done in the community. Could you talk about worldwide, where Guardian Angels is worldwide membership?
I'm sorry?
Talk about the Guardian Angels worldwide, where you are worldwide, and numbers.
We are in over 129 countries, and right now we have 8,500 volunteers in the group.
And you've been recognized, I understand, by presidents. They sit on the board, or?
Yes, from President Nixon through Jimmy Carter, through President Bush, the two of them, Bill Clinton, President Obama, Rudy Giuliani, have all been board members and supporters of the Guardian Angels. The Queen of England, the Emperor of Japan. Myself, I received an award from the Governor General of Canada for my volunteer work in other countries. So yeah, we've been recognized.
Thank you very much. Can you talk about some of your initiatives? I want you to touch on three in particular: Catholic School Board, Community Living, and Max.
Yes.
What you're doing with those organizations?
As brief as possible. Yes, we have a relationship with the Lakehead District Catholic School Board. This is my second year in the high schools. We are doing an anti-bullying campaign. There is a basic self-defense course for boys and girls. Obviously, it's different. Grade 9 girls are a lot different than grade 9 boys. The verbiage is different. The material is quite similar. It's basically a heads up as to what you're going to get into in life and just common sense type stuff. And not to be scared to talk to an adult, to a teacher, to somebody who's in charge. If anything happens, you need a voice. So we stress that in the de-escalation and obviously avoiding a violent confrontation. The only self-defense that they receive, we turn it into a game so that they do get the basic ingredients and motor skills in practice, but we never stress like, oh, this is what's going to happen if somebody kidnaps you type thing. We kind of try to make it a game and make it a physical activity because it is in the phys ed program, but it's been well received by the parents. Obviously, this is my second year. I'm going in next year for the grade 12s. I'm teaching a course in November for the grade 12s that are graduating, getting ready to go to university. And next semester, I will have the grade 9 girls, grade 10 boys, grade 10 girls, and grade 12. It'll be a mixed class. So that's happening. With the MAC, it's the first time ever in our history that a Fortune 500 company has endorsed us publicly, supporting our role in the community, saying that we do need to work together. Max Corporation has given us the homework of taking care of certain areas around their stores in certain areas of town where there have been high rates of crimes, break-ins, hold-ups, that kind of thing, because their idea is the Guardian Angels have such a strong presence and the young people like us so much that maybe with the young people participating in our programs, they might want to take care of their neighborhoods just a little bit better. And the last one you wanted?
Community living.
Oh, community living. It's been an amazing journey. We have the Urban Angel program. I am dealing with a handful, about 16 young men and women with distinct disabilities and special needs. They have been training with us. We say it's martial arts, but it's more like a life skills course where they're finding an outlet for their anger, their frustrations, and a different type of communication. Within 3 months, I proudly say that I have some people, young men and women with severe disabilities, that now accompany me on these walkabouts in different parts of the town, dressed, uniformed as Guardian Angels, enjoying life just like anybody else. We are all about inclusion, and that's what's happening there.
I thought I had two.
And I'm a Hobbs fan, so I don't know if that helps me at all here.
So my last question was, there's a possibility of risk, I guess, liability. How do you cover that? Do you have insurance or?
Yeah, there is zero liability to the city. We have a waiver that everybody signs when you become involved in the Guardian Angel program. And we, in our clubhouse, our gym, and all that kind of stuff, and the training that we do have insurance. In the high schools, we do have insurance. And we do have special police checks because we do deal with young people, young men and women. And again, there is zero liability to the city.
Thank you very much, Madam Chair.
Councillor Ridholm.
Thank you, Madam Chair. I think you partly answered my question, but there must be ongoing financial costs. So I guess you're getting money from Max stores or some other sources?
No, I'm financing it myself right now.
Okay. And your people are all volunteers?
Yes.
Okay. Commendable. Thank you for coming tonight.
Thank you.
Councillor McKinnon.
Thank you, Mr. Hodgkinson. Just a couple of technical questions. What do you mean, from your perspective, by endorsement? Council endorsed you. What do you mean by that?
We went to an event, Movies in the Park, I believe it was called. That event is from the city, correct? Okay. So they have security, there is law enforcement, and then all of a sudden they have the guardian angels. A lot of people came up and talked to us, but at the same time, there were people who were like, what are you doing here? Who are you? So we spent the majority of that time explaining our mission, and everybody was the same, thank you. That's all we got was thank you. We didn't know. I felt a little bit uncomfortable going to street fairs and public events that were put on by the city because it's kind of egotistical for us just to show up. I think it would mean a lot more if we had the logo of the city on our uniforms representing the city council, representing the city of Thunder Bay. Let the people know that, hey, we're part of this, we're all in this together type thing. We're just not some fringe group who just shows up and we're imposing our will. I didn't want to scare anybody. And I didn't want anybody that was attacking us in the press to get the upper hand, saying, see, I told you, they're just a bunch of vigilantes coming here to look for trouble. That's not the case. So I was hoping that would be the result of all this, is that we would be on the same page and the people would see us as part of the city council.
So
Yeah.
I assume then that's what you're looking for from the report that Councillor Bertoramo is going to propose. I assume that would be part of it.
That would be part, yes.
Like an explanation of.
Yes.
I mean, that's important to me. I have to know what you mean by endorsement, so.
Yes,
I
yes.
think you're getting towards it.
I'm sorry, I'm nervous.
No, don't.
I already got yelled at once.
Least guy in the world.
I apologize for giving the impression that I yelled.
Come on, man.
Sorry, Ian.
Have you attended the drug strategy committee? Because that's open to anybody.
No, I haven't.
Is that something you might want to do?
That's something that I'm dying to do it. I'm very highly motivated to do that, yes. I think that would be beneficial to everybody in our group, of course.
And lastly, have you worked with the Zone Watch group that's part of the police services who are, all hooked together through computers and so on?
We tried to, and I've reached out to the chief of police on various occasions with no response. The only response I got from the chief of police was when I first got here, and he did give me time. We had a meeting, and it was very productive, and since then, that was it. I want to be a part of it. We all do. Which is why, if we had the thumbs up from city council, it would be a lot easier for us to get into these type of programs and these events, not because it's an authority thing, and believe me, we wouldn't be doing anything, but if some little boy or girl was lost, it would be a lot more realistic for them to come for us for help and feel safe because they see we're backing up the city. You know what I'm saying? Instead of just some tattooed guy trying to help you out.
Okay. All right. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Councillor Roberto.
Thank you. Well, first of all, welcome, of course, and
Be nice.
I think it's going to be very nice. When you said, when Councillor McKinnon asked you the question, what would you like? I know what you're trying to say, but the way you said it, that we get a logo or a patch or anything like that, I don't know if council's going to be strong enough, or not strong enough, but that means a lot more when council says, okay, you can wear the patch that says, part of the city of Thunder Bay, etc. The liability is a critical thing. If one of your members, I'm not saying they're bad, they're all good members, it looks like if somebody, for some reason, does something, how does the city protect itself? Because the number one thing about the city is we're always looking at, hey, we're expecting the best, but we want to prepare for the worst. So we're saying, what happens in the worst possible scenario? Is the city held liable? And I guess I'd ask that question of our solicitor later on. I want to ask you, if you're protected, if you're protecting the people that are associated with you legally.
I am, yeah. And again, I think the safest way, and I do appreciate your question, and I hope me answering this might make clear it up a little bit more. I suggest if you decide to endorse the Guardian Angels that we sit down and we restructure the whole protocol of the Guardian Angels when they do go to your events. That we can do certain things, that we can't do certain things under any circumstances to avoid these things. And there would be a new waiver, I would be assuming, that makes sure that the city, under any circumstances, is not liable for our volunteer services. Maybe that might be a good step.
That's a very good explanation, because I think that makes me feel a little more comfortable, and sure it adds a little comfort to the rest of the councilors around the table. My second question has to do with what's your impression of the impact that the Guardian Angels have had since they've been here in the core area, the South Core area? What's your impression?
I think it's been incredible. I mean, we get people stop in. There's at least 8 or 9 people every single day that stop in and say thank you. Every time when we were walking around at night, the cars are beeping the horn. Some people would stop their cars and get out and thank us. When we walk people to their cars at night, especially the women that work in the bank and things like that, there's always thankful. You know, if we stop by certain restaurants, they always give the guys a free soft drink or whatever it is, just to, hey, thanks for being here. We feel great that you're here. We accompany people who are, I'm not sure that, I'm sorry, man, I'm so used to speaking Spanish, people who are in their golden years, let's say. We accompany these people to the bank, to the bank machines, and then we walk them home. They're very thankful for that. When we help people cross the streets and all that kind of stuff, when we do cleanup, we help people. And the only thing I've seen is positive. The only time there's been something negative is when we did a few things where we stood in the way of people making illegal money. So obviously those people weren't too happy to see us. Other than that, it's been nothing but positive. It's all about love, you know what I mean?
Okay, my final question would be, how can one contact your organization? How can one sign up?
There's a bat signal in the sky. I had to say, I'm sorry. Come on, man. That was funny, right? Obviously, our clubhouse is just down the street. On big letters on the front window is a phone. It's a phone number, and that's my cell phone. You can call me. I won't answer all the time, but I do get back to you. There's an email, there's a website, social media. I bombard social media on a daily basis, and you can see the Guardian Angels, we're not too hard to pick out. So you just come up to us and start talking, or we'll come up and start talking to you. We'll just say, hey, how you doing? You start that conversation and somebody else sees you. It's just the way it goes. It's a snowball thing. So are we easier to find? Yes. Are we easier to approach? Of course we are. Do you want to talk to me on a professional level? Then you can phone me. We're always there 24/7. That's what this is all about.
Okay. Thank you. Thank you.
Councillor Pugh.
Thank you very much. Bueno, ya que a usted le gusta hablar castellano, le pregunto algo. Si nosotros tenemos muchos contactos con otro grupo en la ciudad con los cuales trabajamos, pero ellos no usan la insignia.
Muchísimo. Me asustaste.
So what
Asking for a red beret.
So what I said was that in view of the fact that you speak Spanish, but I'll translate my question to English. The city works with many community groups, and many of them are volunteers. The one I'm connected with is Evergreen Community, and there are many other ones in various parts of the city. They do good work, but they don't carry a city logo on them. So getting back to your issue, are you looking for? Are you serious about having a city emblem on your uniform, or you just want a a motion that would formally endorse your activities.
I'm
¿Me
extremely,
puede contestar en castellano o inglés?
I'm extremely serious about this. I'm the national director for an organization that's been around for 36 years and is recognized by 129 different countries. My mission is to make this a national project. This is a huge step. This is the first time in the history of our organization that a mayor has stepped up and walked the streets with us. It's never happened. It happened 2 times. It happened once in Mexico, and it happened when Rudy Giuliani was the mayor of New York. It's the only time a politician has stepped up to the plate. We're on a mission to change things and make change. I'm in this for the long run. I just don't do this because I got nothing else to do. My body is full of tattoos, but if you looked at them, 90% of them are guardian angel oriented. This is what I do. I'm on a mission to help Canada change the most that I can. That's what I do. God put me on this earth for the right reasons. And I'm telling you, I'm dead serious about supporting the city right to the end. So yeah, I'm taking it pretty serious.
Well, thank you for that. I think that we appreciate your seriousness, but you also raised some serious issues for the city. So I'm going to be endorsing Councilor Verdeраmo's proposal that we get a report on this. Thank you.
Thank you very much. I'm the last on the speakers list, unless Councilor Angus. No? I see that you've come a very long way. You have a booklet now, which is good. Can you tell us the annual cost of what it takes to run the Guardian Angels chapter in Thunder Bay?
No, I can't because I've only been here 9 months. So I don't know. Gotta wait. Is it a lot of money? Not really. Does it cost me everything I've gotten to get started? Yeah. I don't know what it costs though. I can't tell you. I could tell you in December.
Okay. Other than the logo on your jacket, the city logo, and a seat on crime prevention, are there other things on your list that would constitute an endorsement from the city?
No, not really.
Okay. I would just make a suggestion that you think about the things that you would like to see, because then we can use that as kind of the guidelines of what you're looking for to make this a complete thing for you.
Basically, this whole thing, me being here tonight, and I'm very grateful for it. Please, and I'm sorry if everybody's kind of, wants to get rid of me. I love my city. I've been very successful in life. I had a great career as a professional wrestler and as a movie producer and a television personality and a radio personality. I've done great things, and I'm a great man. I'm a good father. I'm a single dad, and my young daughter is amazing. And I attribute to everything that I do. I've escaped death 1,000,000 times, and I've done things that I couldn't even begin to tell you because you wouldn't believe me. Everything that I've become and I'm betting on, and I'm going to take to the grave, is I'm a rock star in the streets. This is what I do. I rock the Guardian Angels and